Welcome to a new edition of the Neon Jazz interview series with Kansas City Jazz spoons player and utensilist Peter Shilliday. I caught him live a few times with Bram accompanying him on either the piano or accordion, and his performance is very impressive. He picked up the inspiration for spoons from his grandfather, who played the spoons as a pastime while deployed in Japan during World War II. He would end up taking the deep dive into the spoons, playing back in 2012 on a folk tune and a choir concert as a student in Missouri S&T. From there, he found his passion and started doing it for swing music. He is also a swing dancer and DJ. His name is DJ Shillzapoppin. He's a very unique part of a great Kansas City scene. Enjoy the story.
Just so the listeners have a context here, what really kind of inspired me, I've seen you several times. I've seen you down at the Majestic, and I most recently, several days ago, caught you at the Casey Beer Company with Bram, and it's such a impressive way that you use your instrumentation. It works so well with the instruments that you're around. So first and foremost, I just got to say I'm a huge fan of what you do. It's orthodox and unorthodox, and it's interesting and totally cool in its own way.
Thanks.
I've really enjoyed reading your story, and you opened up a little bit to me the other day during a break, but I want to kind of start up front here with the alpha of this instrumentation. Everything began with your grandfather, through your mother, passed on to you. So in your own words, tell me your recollection of how this kind of evolved artistry of spoons came into your world.
I was really inspired by my grandfather's story, or that my mother told me about my grandfather. So unfortunately, I never got to really meet him because he passed away before I was born. So the spoons was kind of a way that I was able to kind of connect with my grandfather a little bit. But from what my mom told me, my grandfather learned to play spoons as sort of a pastime while he was in the Army at as World War II was winding down. And so he was on standby in the Army. So one of the things he did to pass the time was spoons was one thing, and I think I also heard that he was a really good card player. So he had a collection of these kind of phone skills. So I was kind of inspired by that, and I also like to collect skills like that. And so he taught my mom, and also I learned my uncle as well. He taught them how to play spoons when they were young, and then also piano. And I was always growing up in a folk music community, so my mom played piano, my dad played fiddle. And so I was growing up around folk music. That's the kind of context where I learned about spoons. But it really started taking off about 10 years ago, and that's when I really started to, really do the deep dive into spoons and starting to really explore what they can do beyond just sort of what people might think of with spoons as just sort of a folk instrument. And so about 10 years ago is when I started that kind of journey.
So it mentioned that your first gig was down at S&T, and I'm sure growing up you had certain aspirations and dreams. Was music on your radar? How did all this come together?
Yeah, music's always been a very big part of my life. I, as I said, grew up in a very musical family, so kind of everybody in the family plays, at least one instrument, if not a couple. And so for me, I was always attracted to jazz. In college, I kind of figured out what I really liked was that older swing style. Like I would say, for me, that's 1930 to about 1945. That real chunk right there. And so I was really attracted to that. So I've also played piano. I also played for a long time theater pipe organ is another one of those another instrument that I've explored. Also upright bass. And so I've done a little bit of classical, a little bit of jazz, and all of those. And so I've always kind of been exploring different instruments, trying to see what fit for me. And then for some reason in college, for whatever reason, I decided, hey, let's give spoons a try. And it's all started with just a single piece in a choir concert. We were doing a folk piece, and I was thinking, why not, while I'm also in the choir, let's do spoons along with this. And the choir director thought it was a fun idea, so I got to do that. And that's when I when I did that, I was like, oh, wow, this is actually a lot of fun, and I think there's something here, and that's kind of where it all started.
So have you got interest from people around that see you do this, that haven't seen it, that understand how cool it works instrumentally with jazz? I mean, has this taken off as kind of a subgenre? Has this been done before?
Second Meyer is Abby, the Spoons lady, and she's kind of become sort of the internet sensation of spoons playing, and an absolutely fantastic performer. And so, there are different folks like that who have done spoons performance. When it comes to the style that I play, which is where my tap into spoons is a lot more into swing and jazz, and as far as I know, I'm in a very unique camp there with the direction I went with that, because most spoons players usually stick with like folk music and kind of hang out in that area. But I kind of took it in this took a little side road into swing, and it's been really fascinating how it worked with swing, and how I found really solidified in my head how swing is kind of has a lot of that folk music influence in it, and that's where where I can find that connection is where the spoons works really, really well.
So it almost seems like you've been pretty consistent with as busy as you are, other than that COVID and everybody was shut down then. It seems like you have a niche with this, that you have regular gigs that are happening, and I don't imagine there would be that many others out there that would be competing for that same kind of gig. Seems like the field's wide open for you.
It's really fun to try and find where spoons works, and because the spoons feels a really, really cool niche, which is how to providing percussion in a really small swing group setting. That's where I find that the spoons really shine. So when I'm usually with one or two other performers, where a full drum kit would be way too much for a smaller sound like that. And so usually for those more smaller, intimate settings, that's where the spoons can really shine. So yeah, there's a lot of fun, unique opportunities where spoons is just the right tool for the job, and I really enjoy exploring that and finding that.
And also in your palette of artistic desires, you dance and you DJ. Talk to me a little bit about how all of those kind of work together to complete you as a creator, an artist.
The dancing came about especially, again, kind of, during college, and that came from me really finding out that, like, when I listen to swing music, I can't not move. So I was like, all right, might as well learn how to do swing dancing, so that I can be doing something with this, with all of this movement. So I really got into swing dancing, and the cool connection with dancing is that I've also been really fascinated with tap dancing, and most notably like somebody like Fred Astaire or something. I always love watching tap dancing like that, and I've in swing dancing incorporated small little tap moves into my swing dancing. But more importantly, with the spoons playing, often all of my spoons rhythms that I really like to use are all just taken directly off of like tap dancing rhythms, tap dancing moves, because it turns out that the motions translate really well to spoons motions, and just the way that you would hold and play the spoons, it translates really well to like tap dancing movements. So it's easy to pull off those rhythms and turn them into spoons rhythms. So that's all come into play. And then of course with DJing, it's again coming from just loving the swing music and trying to find as many different cool swing tunes that I think would be fun for people to dance to, and I really enjoy finding tunes that are off the beaten path but really, really swing hard. And I love finding those tunes, playing them for others, or using them to further my spoons playing, or and each thing will help all the others. So like dancing helps the spoons playing, spoons sometimes helps the dancing. So other times I'll jump around on all my different instruments that I have, like, piano and bass, and so I'll just sort of jump and hop around on all of them, and to try and get more ideas to try to just come up with fun, unique sounds, and learn how to share them with people.
So you've been busy in the Kansas City area with Bram and Alamode and other musicians. What do you like the best about being a part of the Kansas City jazz community?
Just have to say I enjoy the history, I think would be the best way to say it. I enjoy being in a city which has that history of swing, especially, which I love so much, and so we have this great supportive community of musicians, especially people like Bram and Alamode, who have kind of helped me see the Spoons was really something happening, and they really took me under their wing and helped me learn about how to be a better performer, and taught me a little bit about the business of the music, the music business, because that's a part of it too. And so they were very supportive, and as I said, with the history, being able to just do a short drive and you can go see all this jazz history.
What is it about the swing era that you like the best? What is it about this era of music that not only that you love, but that you emulate in playing? What is it that makes you the happiest about it?
When it comes down to it, I think it's coming back to that with why I got into dancing. Was it for some reason, and for whatever reason, it just moved me. I don't know why, but for when I listen to all sorts of different genres, and I usually, I haven't really met a genre I didn't like, but when it comes to like listening to swing, when I first started hearing it, it just made me stop in my tracks, and I was like, wow, this is so cool. So it's really a lot of just the sound of it. And also, to also really think about it, I would say that the other thing I really enjoy is the sort of improvisational sort of communication that happens when you're playing. So interacting with the audience and having the connection and being able to play off of what the other person's doing and reacting, and it's just a really fun roller coaster when you're able to do that. So if you're an active participant as an audience member or a dancer, or with me, a lot of times I just love playing spoons just because I get the best seat in the house with the other musicians on the band. So that's what I really love.
So what's the future look like for you? How do you see things kind of unfolding as COVID slows down and the world wakes up a little bit?
Be able to kind of continue the trajectory, play more spoons and share it with everybody. And luckily, something I've been able to do during the research and development for spoons is always ongoing. Techniques and add to the sound. So far, I have not seen any stopping with that. So it's like, that's one of the things that, again, I love about spoons. There's sound is that if you focus on just that one thing, even though it looks like a very simple, constrained instrument, you can find all sorts of different nuances. And so I hope to just keep finding more and more of those, and just to keep adding on to the to the craziness and this.
That's perfect, man. Hey, final question for you here. Everyone has a idea of who they think you are when they see you play. Your family, your friends, the fans, people that see you live. But who do you think you are? Who are you?
And just part of my being is, wanting to just, be a positive influence, and wanting to learn about the world and then learn how to be a positive influence in it is the best thing I can say. And so that's where, I found with spoons, it's like, here's a simple thing. It brings joy to everybody, and I enjoy doing it. So it's like, that goes right to my being of like, let's do something that's going to make the world a better place, even if it's just like, right here in the room that we're playing, or, sharing with others online, or connecting through other ways like that. And so that's what I'm always looking out to do. Like that, I'd say that's where it comes down to for me.
Cool. So if anybody wants to catch you live, what would be the best way to do that? Any upcoming gigs or any way they can find out?
But currently, I am playing with Bram with the polka on steroids sensation, if you will. That's at the Casey Beer Company on Saturdays from 3 to 5.
Peter, hey, man, it was great to get to know you. Thank you for opening up. Thank you for your story, and good luck with everything. I look forward to seeing you out there more.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for listening and tuning in to another Neon Jazz interview, where we give you a bit of insight into the finest players and minds in Kansas City and spots all over the world, giving fans all that jazz. Thanks to Peter for his time, music, and cool. If you want to hear more interviews, go to Famous Interviews with Joe Domino on the iTunes Store. Visit neonjazz at youtube.com, and for everything Neon Jazz all the time, go to the neonjazz.blogspot.com. Until next time, enjoy the jazz, my friends.
Neon Jazz.